Okay, so if you checked out Warframe's most recent dev stream, you will have seen that Pablo went over some teasers, I guess, or most of the changes that would be coming with a pseudo-exalted weapon rework. This will be dropping in, I assume, the mid of March. At least that's their goal for when this will be coming with the next big update. And what they're tackling here is kind of worrying but also very exciting in the fact that they want to make Pseudo-exalted a bit more versatile and easy to mod for without, having to use stat sticks, but at the same time they're adding some much needed changes to all the exalted at the same time. And from what I've seen, the general consensus is that a lot of people are quite worried about how a lot of the Pseudo-exalted weapons in the game might actually become way worse because of this change, but I want to do this video to talk about my stance on things, at least of what's been revealed so far, and also probably give you guys at least a little bit of faith to know that your Pseudo-exalteds are probably not going to be nerfed. So, the first big change is that all of the Pseudo-exalted weapons, such as Atlas's Landslide, Gara's Shattered Lash, Cora's Whip Claw, Excalibur's Exalted Blade, these will all be moddable separately, just like regular exalted weapons would be. If you're unaware of how these pseudo-exalteds are currently modded, they are modded via your melee weapon that you have equipped, and you can use, bonus stat increases from incarnon weapons such as, the ceramic dagger to further boost the base stats of the pseudo-exalteds. But now you'll be able to mod them separately. Of course, pseudo-exalteds don't have heavy attacks, so there will be certain mods that aren't available. However, on the same topic, Pablo also mentioned that certain mods that are not available on your regular exalted weapons, such as Baruch's Fists or Excalibur's Exalted Blade for example, mods on those, such as Blood Rush or maybe Body Count, that are previously not usable on those weapons right now will become usable on them with this update. They were not specific as to what mods they would make available, but to be honest, the big ones, such as Blood Rush, which is really the only mod that stands out that you can't use on your regular exalteds right now, I can't imagine they'd mean anything else, otherwise what's the point in even bringing this up? So I do think Blood Rush will be most definitely available on all of the regular exalted weapons. And of course, regular pseudo-exalteds can already use this mod anyway, but pseudos won't be able to use, heavy attack mods, vice versa. This is a huge quality of life, so it presents itself to be a huge buff to all of the regular exalteds, and the buffs don't stop there. Now, pseudos and regular exalteds will have arcane slots available. It's worth noting, I'm not too sure on whether they clarified whether this was for every exalted weapon, including, the primaries and secondaries.
But yeah, all of the other mods are going to come in, and they're going to get arcane slots.
And exalted weapons as well.
Exalted
like true
weapons
exalted weapons. So for those of you who've been asking stream over stream, let me put arcanes on Exalted Blade. You're getting it.
So,
awesome.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a buff galore for all of the frames that
use exalted
weapons. Yeah.
So something like Artemis Bow or Mesa's Peacemaker. I don't really think they clarified whether or not you could put arcanes on those weapons, but I'd figured so, because why would you let, an exalted melee use a melee arcane but not the primaries and secondaries? So this should be across the board. Now this is a huge buff, not only just because of Blood Rush being available on all exalted and being able to mod your pseudos separately, but being able to implement something like influence into the mix, which is already broken. And to be honest, even if they feel like nerfing influence because of this, a lot of the melee arcanes are already really powerful. It's just that influence is at the top, so if you nerf influence, you're still going to have way more power available to you via the other arcanes. So yeah, regular exalteds will be receiving huge buffs with this update, but back to the pseudo-exalteds and why people are worried. As mentioned already, incarnon weapons such as the ceramic dagger offer stat increases to the base stats of pseudo-exalteds when you mod with them. This allows us to achieve really good crits and high status with these pseudos and mod them much more efficiently for higher damage. So when the update drops and we're modding our pseudos separately, there's a high chance that, well, all of those stat increases now renders our weapons useless. Pseudo-exalteds will no longer be useful because the base stats won't be buffed anymore by incarnons. They'll just have their own base stats that you can mod separately. In case you're unaware, currently Slash Dash, Landslide, Shattered Lash, and Cora's Whip Claw, all of them have pretty questionable base damage and stats. Cora's probably has the best because she has an augment that can help boost that damage, but last time I tested all of these without any incarnon weapons to help boost those base stats, they do not scale well at all. With how power creep this game is right now, these will all just get completely outclassed by other melee weapons. So if there is no compensation for the stat loss that the incarnon buffs give our pseudos, this could be a huge problem. Atlas's Landslide has horrific base stats and crit, and it's really only fixed by those incarnon weapons. However, I have faith that Pablo knows what he's doing here and is going to compensate with some base stat buffs for these weapons. Pablo is pretty much not really missing. He's on a really good streak of incredible reworks from Warframes to damage types. He always compensates where it needs to be done. And I think going into this, he knows that these pseudo-exalted weapons are beloved and very powerful and often a big part of those Warframes kits. So if he was to nerf the base crit and stats potential of the weapons by removing the incarnon feature, he might compensate by buffing them at base. I'm not too worried about this. I think Pablo knows what he's doing. However, something I'm a bit more worried about is he mentioned a new combo system that he wanted to take and apply to all the pseudo-exalteds, which is Atlas's Landslide combo. In case you don't know, Atlas has his own little combo mechanic where upon multiple hits, consecutive hits I guess, you go 1, 2, 3, it doubles each time, and you can see in the center of your screen that damage bonus on that big uppercut. This works really well within his kit, and it doesn't replace the base combo multiplier which pseudos currently use from your melees. And this goes across the board. All of the pseudos use the base combo multipliers for, you know, making use of the damage bonus, and also any of your mods such as Blood Rush for that crit bonus. It makes use of the combo multiplier system just like any regular melee does. And there are talks of, you know, removing the base 12x combo multiplier from your melees from the pseudo-exalted and just having them rely on this new combo feature that is similar to Atlas's combo that he has built in.
Before you could first kind of grind up your combo on your normal weapon, and then the combo would benefit that. That will no longer happen, so because of that, we're going to add basically that combo system from Atlas will also be added to the other two.
As it stands right now, this would probably mean that overall pseudo-exalteds deal way less damage, but I feel like we just need more details on this. There's going to be more details released about this rework in the next dev stream. I know this has people worried because it sounds like an overall big damage nerf, but I think Pablo knows what he's doing and he's going to make sure this update works out perfectly in order to make pseudo-exalteds just as useful as the now even more powerful regular exalteds. That's really what it comes down to with this kind of rework, is that I've always wanted something like this in the game where we're upgrading the pseudo-exalteds to be able to be modded more efficiently. I do not like how they're currently make or break for Warframes depending on whether you have an incarnon weapon. That's just not good for newer players, and it honestly feels kind of wrong. It feels like the Warframe is useless without this special bonus you get. Like, I think Atlas is a terrible Warframe without a ceramic dagger. So if this is done correctly, we could see all the pseudo-exalted Warframes be way more effective across the board and not require any incarnon investments whatsoever. And then you can mod your base melee weapon that you're using with your setup. You can mod that weapon properly and use it as an actual melee instead of, you know, throwing in Spoiled Strike because it, you know, gives you bonus damage on your pseudo and it works for the pseudo, but you can't use the regular melee anymore because you have negative attack speed on it. The setups have always reduced versatility of what you want to run. And whilst I am excited and also kind of nervous for this pseudo update, I'm more excited for the broader changes to the other exalted weapons. I cannot wait to use Blood Rush on my other exalteds, such as, you know, Primal Fury. You guys know Wukong's a big part of this channel. I would 100% love if this update actually does give us Blood Rush and all of these arcanes on these exalted melees. I'm going to revisit every single exalted weapon that I want, and it's going to be so much fun. It's going to mean even more red crits across the board, melee influence on something like Primal Fury. It already has the best range of any non, you know, projectile based melee in the game. Melee Doughty is new, you could work with that. Even if they nerf melee influence, this is still going to be really fun and a huge buff to all the exalted. And I'm also curious to see if it actually works with, you know, the primaries and secondaries such as Artemis Bow, maybe Dex Pixia, stuff like that. Let me know if you guys are excited or really worried about this upcoming update. I personally hold out a little bit of faith because Pablo really just never misses. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Appreciate you all for watching. Leave a like and sub if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.